Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders find themselves in a fascinating yet complicated situation as the 2025 NFL season approaches. And while much of the buzz has been centered around Jayden Daniels, the reigning offensive rookie of the year, the attention has recently shifted to what lies behind him on the depth chart. Daniels dazzled the league last season, rewriting expectations for a first-year quarterback, leading Washington all the way to the NFC Championship game and igniting a franchise that had been desperate for stability under center. Yet, for all the brilliance that Daniels brings to the field, football is a brutal sport defined by unpredictability, and no team can rely solely on the hope that their starting quarterback remains healthy. That reality has put a massive spotlight on Washington's muddled backup quarterback situation, one that has left fans and analysts alike raising eyebrows, questioning the Commanders' preparedness should the unthinkable happen and Daniels be sidelined. The discussion starts with Sam Hartman, a rookie trying to prove he belongs in the NFL, but who has struggled mightily through preseason action. Against Baltimore, Hartman completed 12 of 17 passes, which on paper looks solid, but the numbers hide a bigger issue: his lack of confidence and inability to push the ball downfield. 2 interceptions marred his performance, one of which was returned for a touchdown, and that single play alone magnified concerns about his readiness. Most of his completions were quick, safe throws behind the line of scrimmage, offering little sign that he can effectively run Washington's offense in a live game situation. For a team with Super Bowl aspirations, the prospect of relying on such a green and hesitant passer in the event of an injury is troubling, leaving coaches in a bind over whether his youth and developmental upside outweigh his current liabilities. On the other side of the conversation stands Josh Johnson, a 38-year-old veteran who has been around the league for what feels like forever. Johnson has played for more franchises than many players can name, embodying the journeyman quarterback archetype to perfection. While he has shown flashes of competence during his lengthy career, his preseason was hardly inspiring, as turnovers continued to be a theme. 3 interceptions this summer added to the doubt over whether Johnson can truly be trusted in high-leverage moments, and his advanced age only raises further concerns. The Commanders must weigh whether a steady but limited veteran with declining athleticism is a safer choice than a younger player like Hartman, who, despite his flaws, could theoretically develop into something better with time and coaching. It is a classic case of a coaching staff being forced to choose between potential and reliability, neither of which feels particularly comforting right now. Complicating this already tricky decision is Marcus Mariota, a name that comes with far more recognition and pedigree. A former Heisman Trophy winner and top draft pick, Mariota has carved out a respectable, if unspectacular NFL career, often landing in the exact role he now holds in Washington: backup quarterback. However, Mariota's Achilles tendon issues over the past few weeks have cast serious doubt on whether he can be consistently available. Achilles tendonitis is not an injury that teams take lightly, especially for a mobile quarterback like Mariota, whose athleticism has always been central to his game. Although he returned to practice last week, questions remain about his durability and whether the Commanders can truly lean on him for extended stretches if Daniels were to miss time. This lingering health concern forces Washington to carefully evaluate every scenario, because an unreliable backup can derail even the most talented roster. Head coach Dan Quinn now faces one of the more underrated but crucial roster decisions of his tenure. While fans dream about Daniels torching defenses and leading the Commanders back to another deep playoff run, Quinn and his staff must decide whether to carry 2 or 3 quarterbacks on the active roster. It's a numbers game, and every slot matters when constructing a team with championship ambitions. If the Commanders only keep 2, they will need absolute confidence in Mariota's health, which seems risky given his recent history. If they opt for 3, they must choose between the veteran steadiness of Johnson or the developmental gamble of Hartman. Neither option feels ideal, but championship teams often distinguish themselves not by their stars, but by the strength and preparedness of the players waiting in the wings, ready to step in when needed most. The importance of this decision cannot be overstated, because in today's NFL, the margin between glory and heartbreak is razor thin. Backup quarterbacks across the league have swung entire seasons. Think Nick Foles stepping in for Carson Wentz in 2017 and leading the Eagles to a Super Bowl title, or conversely, teams collapsing when their starter goes down and no adequate replacement is available. Washington has already shown they can build around Daniels, but if he were to miss time, their ability to stay afloat could hinge on whether they chose wisely now. Fans are well aware of this, and conversations on social media have been dominated by debates about whether Hartman deserves patience, Johnson deserves loyalty, or Mariota deserves trust. It is not just a football decision. It's a statement about how serious Washington is about capitalizing on their current championship window. Another angle to this situation is the psychological impact it may have on Daniels himself. For a young quarterback, knowing that the safety net behind him is shaky could add pressure, consciously or unconsciously. Daniels already carries the weight of an entire franchise's hopes on his shoulders, and while he has shown remarkable poise for his age, the NFL is relentless in testing even the most composed players. Ideally, he would benefit from having a veteran mentor who not only helps in the quarterback room, but can also step in seamlessly if called upon. The uncertainty behind him undermines that comfort. Instead of being able to fully lock into his own progression and leadership, Daniels may find himself subtly aware that any injury would thrust the team into a chaotic scramble. That is not the kind of support system teams usually want around a budding superstar. Financially, the Commanders also need to consider the implications of carrying 3 quarterbacks. Every roster spot matters under the salary cap, and resources allocated to a struggling rookie or aging veteran could instead be used on strengthening another unit, whether that's adding depth to the offensive line, bolstering the secondary, or ensuring that Daniels has every possible weapon at his disposal. Washington is in a competitive division where the Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys will all be vying for playoff positioning, and one injury or one weak roster spot can make all the difference. Therefore, beyond just evaluating quarterback play, the front office must ask, is the insurance policy of an extra quarterback truly worth what it costs an opportunity elsewhere? It's the kind of roster math that separates great front offices from average ones, and it looms large over Washington's preseason. Fans circling the season opener against the New York Giants on September 7th already know that none of these debates will matter if Daniels remains healthy and continues his meteoric rise. That opener at FedEx Field is shaping up to be one of the most electric environments in recent franchise history, with excitement reaching levels not seen in over a decade. But while the hype is real, so too is the risk. The Commanders cannot afford to waste this window of opportunity with an elite young quarterback, a resurgent defense, and a head coach who has quickly built credibility in the locker room. Championships are not won on opening day, but seasons can certainly be lost when depth fails. Washington's quarterback dilemma may seem like a minor storyline now, yet it could end up being the difference between hoisting a Lombardi trophy or watching another team seize the moment. In the end, the Commanders' messy quarterback depth chart is a reminder of just how delicate success in the NFL can be. Daniels has already proven that he can be the face of the franchise, but football is never about one player alone. A single twist of fate, a single injury, and all of Washington's hopes could rest in the hands of someone currently failing to inspire confidence. Whether it's Hartman finding sudden growth, Johnson delivering one last steady run, or Mariota shaking off injury concerns, someone behind Daniels must rise to the occasion. Until then, Washington lives in the uncomfortable reality of potential greatness overshadowed by potential disaster, a duality that defines life in the NFL. The countdown to kickoff against the Giants continues, but so too does the question lingering over the franchise. If Daniels goes down, who truly has the keys to keep this dream alive? If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The NFL world is buzzing with one of the most unexpected moves of the season, as Chase Young reportedly makes a sensational return to Washington in what insiders are calling a lightning-fast trade that has left fans and analysts alike scrambling to process the implications. Sources suggest that negotiations were conducted behind closed doors with remarkable speed, and the deal, once finalized, took the league by surprise. Washington Commanders, known for their aggressive approach to reshaping the roster, are now rumored to have acquired Young under terms that remain closely guarded, fueling speculation about the team's strategic intentions. While the official announcement has yet to be made public, insiders hint at a scenario where Young's reintegration into the Commanders' defensive scheme could dramatically alter the team's dynamics. Fans are already taking to social media to express their excitement, with hashtags trending and speculation reaching fever pitch about how this could impact playoff ambitions. The details of this trade have generated intense curiosity, particularly because of its rapid execution. Those close to the negotiations describe a situation in which multiple parties had to move quickly, weighing potential long-term benefits against immediate roster needs. Analysts are dissecting possible motivations, from salary cap maneuvering to strategic positioning for the upcoming season. And the consensus is that this deal may redefine expectations for Washington's defensive front. Rumors suggest that Young's previous tenure with the team played a significant role in the swift resolution, given his familiarity with the coaching staff, teammates, and defensive schemes. This return, framed as a homecoming by some insiders, has sparked debate about whether Young can replicate or exceed his prior performance. Enthusiasts speculate endlessly about locker room chemistry, potential rivalries reigniting, and the intangible psychological boost that a high-profile player's return could provide to the entire roster and fanbase. Social media reactions have been overwhelming, with fans and former players weighing in on the trade in real time. The narrative surrounding Chase Young's return has grown into a story that extends beyond sports, touching on loyalty, redemption, and the magnetic pull of unfinished business. Analysts on sports talk shows are already breaking down the trade from every angle, discussing the potential shifts in defensive strategy and how Young's presence might allow the team to experiment with new formations. Rumors swirl about internal discussions, coaching adjustments, and even the subtle dynamics between existing defensive stars and the newly returned star. Some commentators suggest that the trade signals a renewed commitment from Washington to reclaim prominence in the NFC, using bold, headline-grabbing moves to reignite fan enthusiasm and solidify their identity as a team willing to bet on top-tier talent, regardless of potential risks or controversy surrounding rapid roster changes. Sources close to the team have hinted that the decision to bring Young back was not merely opportunistic, but part of a broader vision for Washington's immediate future. Behind the scenes, executives reportedly reviewed exhaustive analytics, performance metrics, and even psychological profiles to ensure that this reunion would maximize the team's competitive edge. While no formal statements have confirmed the financial or contractual specifics, industry insiders speculate about a package that blends incentives, performance bonuses, and creative roster maneuvers designed to keep Young motivated and integrated. The sheer swiftness of the trade has sparked wild speculation about rival teams' reactions, with some suggesting that competitors might feel blindsided or even disadvantaged by this sudden realignment of defensive power, potentially triggering a domino effect in upcoming trades and negotiations league-wide. The intrigue surrounding this deal has already elevated it to one of the most discussed sports rumors of the year, captivating fans, analysts, and casual observers alike. Adding to the drama, insiders claim that Young's return could catalyze unexpected shifts within the locker room hierarchy. Veteran players, young talents, and new acquisitions are all rumored to be preparing for a recalibration of roles, responsibilities, and leadership dynamics. Some reports hint at subtle tensions emerging as players adjust to the reintegration of a high-profile teammate whose presence commands attention, influence, and energy both on and off the field. While coaches are reportedly enthusiastic about the strategic possibilities, whispers of internal debates about play calling, rotations, and defensive schemes have circulated, suggesting that the return of Young may spark innovation but also require careful management. Observers speculate that this dynamic could either strengthen the team's cohesion or challenge it, depending on how personalities, performance expectations, and rivalries evolve in the coming weeks, as the Commanders prepare for a season that could now take on renewed significance in light of this dramatic, high-profile acquisition. Rumors further suggest that Washington's front office executed this trade with a sense of urgency, perhaps driven by market pressure or the perception that rival teams were closing in on comparable talents. Some analysts argue that the deal reflects a proactive strategy aimed at creating immediate headlines while reshaping the team's identity as a defensive powerhouse. Internal sources, speaking under conditions of anonymity, suggest that the trade discussions included scenarios that would allow Washington to leverage Young's presence to attract complementary talent in subsequent negotiations, maximizing the long-term potential of the roster. Fans have speculated endlessly about what this means for the quarterback, offensive strategies, and overall team chemistry, fueling endless online debate and discussion forums where every angle is dissected. The combination of speed, secrecy, and high-profile impact has elevated this rumor into a full-blown narrative, captivating the NFL community with endless conjecture about what comes next. Beyond the tactical implications, the human dimension of Young's return has ignited a wave of nostalgia and emotion among Washington supporters. Many fans recall previous seasons where Young's performance, energy, and leadership set him apart, and his potential return to familiar surroundings has become a symbol of redemption and unfinished business. Some speculate that Young's renewed presence may rekindle past rivalries, spark renewed confidence, or even serve as a motivating factor for emerging talents seeking mentorship and inspiration. Commentators have begun framing this as more than a mere roster adjustment. It is a story of identity, culture, and emotional resonance that extends into the community, media narratives, and fan engagement campaigns. Rumors about press conferences, promotional events, and potential marketing tie-ins further underscore the magnitude of the move and the team's awareness of its broader significance beyond pure on-field strategy. Whispers from inside the organization suggest that negotiations may have included creative clauses aimed at ensuring Young's long-term commitment, from performance incentives to potential leadership opportunities. While official figures have yet to emerge, analysts speculate that the structure of the deal reflects a blend of pragmatism, strategic foresight, and a willingness to make bold moves that could inspire both teammates and competitors. Fans have imagined scenarios where Young becomes the centerpiece of defensive schemes, mentoring younger stars while directly influencing game outcomes. The rapid nature of the trade, combined with the rumored intensity of internal discussions, has prompted comparisons to historical high-profile acquisitions that shifted league dynamics, with pundits already debating whether this move could define Washington's trajectory for years to come. Online forums are alive with predictions, speculation, and theories about the strategic genius or audacious risk embodied in this acquisition. Industry insiders also hint that rival teams are scrambling to respond, analyzing Washington's motivations and evaluating whether countermoves or acquisitions are necessary to maintain competitive parity. The narrative of Young's return is evolving rapidly, with pundits weighing whether this represents a single blockbuster move or the opening salvo in a more extensive roster transformation. Behind closed doors, some executives are reportedly revisiting draft strategies, free agent priorities, and trade possibilities in light of Young's reintegration, assessing how to balance immediate impact with sustainable growth. Fans are increasingly convinced that Washington has sent a bold message to the league, signaling both ambition and a willingness to embrace bold, unconventional strategies. Speculation has reached such intensity that every practice, press release, and minor roster adjustment is now dissected for hidden clues about the team's evolving game plan and the ripple effects of this lightning-quick acquisition. As the rumor mill continues to churn, attention has shifted to how coaches will integrate Young's skill set into existing schemes, balancing his explosive athleticism with team strategies, rotations, and assignments. Analysts suggest that this could spark innovative defensive play calling, new formations, and the emergence of hybrid strategies designed to maximize impact while mitigating risk. Some whispers suggest that Young's leadership could extend beyond the field, influencing training approaches, locker room morale, and the development of younger talent. Speculation extends to potential shifts in media narratives, fan engagement, and team identity, transforming what might have been a routine roster adjustment into a story rich with drama, tension, and anticipation. Observers are left asking whether Washington has engineered not just a trade, but a turning point for the franchise, with ramifications that could ripple across the league and redefine expectations for seasons to come. The excitement, speculation, and intensity surrounding Chase Young's rumored return to Washington have elevated this story to a level that blends sports, culture, and narrative intrigue into one captivating saga. Fans, analysts, and casual observers are already crafting scenarios, debating possibilities, and imagining outcomes that extend far beyond typical trade chatter. With every passing day, new whispers emerge, each adding layers to a story that is as much about identity, loyalty, and ambition as it is about statistics or on-field performance. Whether this move proves to be a masterstroke or a gamble fraught with risk remains to be seen, but one thing is undeniable. The NFL community has been electrified, and Washington Commanders fans have been thrust into the heart of one of the most talked-about developments of the season, a narrative that promises intrigue, suspense, and drama for weeks, months, and potentially seasons to come. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.